promise I'll try to get back to uploading as often as I can.
So that was a f***ing lie.
Within the time I've been gone, I've probably gotten into college and Foggy Nelson died. F*** you, Marvel. Liam Vickers is a name that you've probably heard of, especially on the channel. A lot. Jesus, I need some new material. Anyways, he is the guy that created Murder Drones, Internecion Cube, and CliffSide. But before Liam was known for what he does today, he actually ran a whole other channel before making his main animation channel. This channel was called Scary Storytime with Liam. I talked about it a little bit in my Lost Media video I made a while ago. This channel was basically a creepypasta channel with him narrating stories he's written or reading what fans submitted. And wow, he's made quite a few stories. Now, these wouldn't be true Liam Vickers products if these projects were not finished. Yep, just like his animation projects, most of these stories are not finished. But that won't stop me from making a video discussing these projects. I want to go over all the major stories that Liam has made publicly on this channel and a lost one that isn't publicly available anymore.
This is how I encourage you to go watch my previous Lost Media video.
And I guess rank them in my objective opinion. Since they're all basically audiobooks, you're just meant to listen to them, so there wasn't much for me to actually watch. I just stare at the screen at the same picture for like 2 hours, looking back at my poor life choices. And since we're in the year 2025, everyone has TikTok brain and needs stimulation on all sides. And I got 3 monitors for a reason. So I had the story on one, the other had 2 feral hogs, and on the last one I played Ultra Kill.
Well, yeah, nice toes, bro. What?
Put them toes away! Put them away, please!
Yeah, bro, save them for the Latina, bro. Come on now.
That is insane. Multitasking is the key to success. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Starting off with design, released all the way back in, holy shit, 2014. Has a total of 3 seasons and 2 anime filler episodes, for some reason. The story starts out with our protagonist John Matthews and a couple of his friends stumbling onto some spooky secret military town where all of John's friends are murdered, and he's just left on the run with a spooky person named Callie Ames, who is a woman that John is convinced he can fix, and a left hand. That's probably more important to the plot. Left hands are parasites that basically kill you and would wrap around the base of your spine to control your body. This gives the person psychic abilities called matter distortion, and with this power, the left hand's main goal is to wipe out humanity. This series has the 2 on the run from an underground government facility trying to take them out as they're fighting for their lives. This series is also the origin of Mpreg. I refuse to further elaborate. The series is also very dark and gritty, and if you're as mentally ill as me, you'll be hooked from the start. The violence is described in brutal detail, and there's a lot of build-up mystery and shocking moments that pay off throughout the 3 seasons. There were actual moments in season 2 where I was actually shaking my fist in the air and physically soy-facing out of excitement. I think my only real complaints is that some of the plot points in season 1 are a little predictable, such as Callie being the one to massacre everyone in John's class and that John's father is working for the facility. This probably wouldn't be a problem for a normal person, but I think I just watched too much shit that I just kind of picked up on guessing what happens next. My second complaint is in season 2. Liam decided to get multiple people to start voicing characters with varying mic quality, so it kind of takes me out of the intensity of the moment when I hear the Xbox 360 microphone. And I guess my last problem is that John doesn't really get to shine as a character until season 3 in the facility arc. But despite those 3 complaints, I can still look past it and enjoy it. This was Liam's first major story, and this probably was the best way to understand the style of his projects. Also, the filler episodes are f***ing peak.
Love.
Next up, we have Black Dogs. Released in 2017, follows our protagonist. Oh, John Matthews. Maybe this is a continuation of design somehow. You can imagine my disappointment. In the story, John is a housekeeper managing a mansion with his family, who is hosting the governor of Nebraska and his daughter Hayes Borden. Soon, John sees Hayes doing some wacky and strange things, which eventually snowballs into some more odd experiences, to where it is shown that John and his family are actually in some sort of time loop, and Hayes seems to be the only person who doesn't repeat the day to an extent. So over time, Hayes tries to look for reoccurring events to try to break the cycle, but after so many failed attempts, she just starts losing her mind. Eventually, John becomes aware of the time loop, and Hayes finally prevents a reoccurring event, and the 2 kill themselves as a way to break out. Don't worry, they walk it off just fine. As everything in this world falls apart, John has to find a way to escape from the forces that are causing this, or he would die. But not everything is what it seems in this story. This is by far one of the more schizo stories that Liam has told, and guess what? Not only is this the final story on this channel, this is the only one he actually bothered to finish. So after a decade and however many projects he's made, he has only managed to finish 2 of them that are publicly available. Now I'll be honest. Black Dogs was kind of the hardest story to properly get into. Well, I'd say that the build-up for the more dramatic stuff halfway into the story was definitely worth it, and the mystery and horror was decently good. It is egregiously slow in the beginning. Almost all the episodes are around 20 to 40 minutes, which is what you'd expect for a typical episode for anything. But the very first episode is too hours long, and all it does in that time is establish the time loop and focuses on that the entire time. Normally I love very slow-paced narratives where it can develop and let characters shine. It's the reason why I love Arcane Season 1 and why I love Daredevil. They have that build up from the very first episode that keeps you engaged for the rest of the show, and I just don't start feeling that with Black Dogs until like the 3rd or 4th episode. I feel so disconnected from these characters, and even if I want to care about John and Hayes, you're thrown right back into the action every couple minutes with no time to actually breathe. While this was definitely a more straightforward story and it got right to the point after a bit, like my homosexuality, the very slow pacing in the beginning with very little substance that only comes after you sit through the unnecessary length of the first episode can be a very big turnoff to some people. Not me though, I'm a certified thug.
Oh, shiver my timbers!
The Alaska series is a 4-part series that, despite them all taking place in Alaska, they have zero continuity and have nothing to do with each other. They are just 4 individual stories, so I'm gonna run through them real quick. Glacial Ice is about John and his friends going to Alaska on a tour. They go on a boat to see some stunning glaciers, but a storm comes in, so the tour guide tries to get everyone back to safety, but the other tour boats start to go missing. Eventually, the boat that our group of goobs are on capsizes and everyone drowns. Island of Corpses is about a group of friends, including John again, going into the deep forest of Alaska. John hears a faint scream, but he thinks he's just crazy. But when he catches up to his group, he sees a mangled deer. The tour guide warns the group that there are bears in these woods. As they try to go back, they find another mangled carcass on the tour path. Also, the tour guide is a fucking moron and took the group off the path somehow. So something starts picking off the people in the group, and John and Sarah, someone else also in the group, make a run for it, barely making it out alive. The two start going cuckoo crazy, or whatever you want to call it, because of the hypothermia, and it ends with John being stranded with everyone he knew dead in front of him. The Mangled is about John and Sarah going kayaking and poking jellyfish because these versions of the characters are sick fucks. And because Karma is a bitch, they get abandoned. They find the large boat that they came on, only to find that it has been completely abandoned. Sarah says that she sees a body in the water, but the two need to warm up fast or else they'll freeze to death. Soon, John discovers why everyone was missing on the boat, and he finds Sarah literally falling apart in front of him. John realizes that whoever made eye contact with that thing in the water that Sarah found would become these disheveled monsters, as it was a virus that spread from one person to the next just by looking at the infected in the eye. So John eventually dies. Run Aground takes place on a boat with John trying to discourage Ashley from underage drinking before playing cards. Ashley runs off only to come back telling John and Sarah that the captain isn't in the wheelhouse. They scram out to investigate as the ship drives itself right into an island, causing it to crash and knocking Sarah into the water and killing her as she hits her head on a rock. John and Ashley seem to be the only two people left on the boat, completely stranded, so as John runs around to get help, he comes back to Ashley telling him that Sarah is still alive. John tries to break into the wheelhouse, but he sees a mangled corpse that almost seems alive still, as it's moving to the room they have Sarah's corpse in. John goes below deck trying to find something, but Ashley starts yelling for John not to come back up. He has no choice but to go up, because he would drown if he stayed down there. And as he went up, he found a standing corpse staring him down from the other side of the boat. The boat finally capsizes and Sarah's room floods despite Ashley's attempt to try to preserve the body. So before John drowns, he sees Sarah's dismembered corpse and all the other bodies of the crew members floating above him. Overall, this was a pretty spine-chilling way for Liam to, I guess, talk about his fear of drowning. And while it sucks that there really isn't any continuity in these stories, I guess they can do alright as one-off things. Yellow Halogen, released back in 2015, follows John and his classmates plotting to try to get rid of a Diddy stalker named Marcus. John does some rather f***ed up things to try to get rid of him, which only drives Marcus into a downward spiral. John plans to finally put this bastard down, but his friends try to talk him out of it because there's a mysterious killer on the loose. Turns out this killer might actually not be so bad because it just kills Marcus. But because John witnessed Marcus's murder, the creature is now targeting John's family, sending his mom to the hospital, and because John sent death threats to Marcus, he is now a suspect of the murder. This creature is now actively trying to get John into incriminating situations to really convince people that he is the killer. Yellow Halogen also remains unfinished, as it was planned for a season 2, but it was also taken down for an unknown reason. The current theory is because of the more mature nature, since Yellow Halogen has a lot of morally f***ed up things happening. Also, if you look at the time it was taken down in July 2022, I don't think it would be a coincidence that it had to be taken down due to his partnership with Glitch when Murder Drones got greenlit for a full season the same year. Liam's distaste for his old work and trying to clean up his act for a new audience would definitely be a reason why he had to take it down. With that stuff out of the way, on the more relevant stuff, this story is also a more straightforward narrative, like Black Dogs, but where Black Dogs fumbles in its storytelling with the characters, Yellow Halogen excels at it. There is engagement from the very first episode that keeps adding on to it every episode after that. There's no rough entry point, and all the episodes are very similar in length, being 30 to 40 minutes. There are plenty of characters in the story, and despite this story actually being the shortest one on SSTWL, you actually kind of care about every character, and hell, even the Halogen that is the killer. The lore runs very deep with the Halogens, or Sirens is what they're really called, and even though it's all lore dumped to you by the end of the show, this story by far has the best cliffhanger in all of Liam's stories.
God damn, you a savage.
Now, last up, we have Puppet Game, released all the way back in 2016, follows John trying to survive in a nuclear fallout due to these things called splice fissures. What are they? No idea. Eventually, John and some other people start tweaking out because they almost get caught in a splice. This weird AI named Malay tries to assist John in surviving, but instead gets him involved with the survival game. He's set up with a wacky cast in the survival game, fighting in the multiverse. I've already made this joke. Basically, Puppet Game takes place in an alternate timeline and takes characters from designs such as Callie Ains and Julie Rowe, for the couple seconds she has on it, Yellow Halogen with the Halogen itself, and Sarah Duffy from A Cold Love Story, and a version of Sarah from this John's universe. A Cold Love Story is an old story that Liam wrote, eventually making a game out of, and to basically explain it like a moron, Sarah is a yandere, killing John's class so that way he can only have her. But when he rejects her, she kills him. So to tell the difference in this story, Sarah from A Cold Love Story is called Cold. We also get introduced to some new characters such as Sketch, Door Guy, and Malay. Door Guy supremacy, by the way. Everyone is binded here because of a sentient AI hive mind of puppets named Ponder. I assume the story is where Liam started the trend of his characters being somewhat self-aware, as Ponder breaks the fourth wall on several occasions and uses TV tropes to toy with the contestants. Also, if the contestant dies, their entire home planet blows up. Now, I really like how the story really makes you feel like you are an actual spectator of the game, because you're on the edge of your seats for a lot of moments in the show. I really wonder what it would have been like to watch these episodes as they came out, because at the time, you really were able to vote for what characters get voted off, which is really cool viewer engagement. The story tries to keep a nice balance of keeping the characters in the game with the Sarah side plot, as it is a nice build-up for the first 6 episodes. It is recommended to listen to Puppet Game after you listen to all the other stories, because the story actually wouldn't make sense if you didn't. Trust me, watch all of these in order so you can actually understand all the references and some plot points. Also, if you do listen to this series, not all the episodes are in the playlist, which is weird, but it really isn't a problem since YouTube just kind of autoplays the next one, but it's just something to note. Also, I kind of hate to be that guy, but despite Ponder being the villain, he is surprisingly likable due to his very outgoing personality, being an outstanding game show host, and just how funny he is. In fact, every character gets a chance to shine, which really gives the story a couple more brownie points. Alright, because of this ranking, I'm gonna probably get a lynch mob sent after me. In 5th place is the Alaska series. Now, you guys are in for a treat. We actually get to do 2 rankings in one video. I know, I'm awesome. No need to thank me. Last place for the Alaska series is the Island of Corpses. It is just the most boring out of the 4. 3rd place is the Mangled, having constant spooky things happen. 2nd place is Glacial Ice. So in 1st place, Running Ground is our winner for the Alaska series, because it has spooky things, but cooler. With all jokes aside, these are just individual stories in the playlist, so they really don't have the staying power like the others on this list. In 4th place, we have Black Dogs. While it's definitely one of the more terrifying stories, it is such a pain to actually sit through until it actually gets good. 3rd place is Yellow Halogen. Like I said before, it is a straightforward story like Black Dogs, but it doesn't make it a chore to sit through it. It has you engage all the way through, but it can't compare to the next 2. Now, I ranked Liam's animations a year ago with the same dilemma. I just can't pick and choose what I like better. Design and Puppet Game are 100% my favorites, but for my final verdict, drumroll please. Design is in 2nd place, and Puppet Game is our winner in 1st. Design is Liam's first large ongoing story, and while it definitely stood the test of time, I had to put it in 2nd place because of how John is written in these 2 stories. John in Design, despite being the main character, almost feels like he's playing second fiddle to Callie, and he actually doesn't really do much other than just staring down the barrel of a gun. Also, the way he just gets this confidence in the facility arc in Season 3 just comes out of the blue and doesn't feel like this is the John we knew throughout the story. Puppet Game actually gives John a chance to shine all the way through, even pinning him up against way stronger characters and still making him feel like the protagonist as well. So, if this video ever comes out, that means I managed to survive several assassination attempts from Liam Vickers fans and 2 other people I know. Anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'm not going to make the same mistake I did in my previous videos and not promise to be more consistent with uploads. I just have a lot going on right now, so these things kind of just will come out when they can. Anyways, see you in the next one.